The room went quiet the moment he said it. Not loud quiet, not shocked silence. The kind of quiet that feels intentional, calculated, like everyone already knew something I didn't. She succeeded despite her husband, being just a warehouse worker, with no education. A few people laughed. Polite, controlled. My fingers tightened around the glass in my hand. I didn't drink. I just held it, feeling the cold against my skin, grounding me while something inside me began to shift. And then my wife smiled. Not awkwardly, not defensively. She agreed. A small nod, a soft laugh. Eyes sparkling in a way I didn't recognize anymore. Something in my chest didn't break. It froze. I didn't react. Not yet, because reactions are for people who don't understand the full picture. And I had a feeling I was still missing pieces. It started 3 weeks ago. A message, not meant for me. Her phone lit up while she was in the shower. I wasn't snooping. I never needed to. Trust isn't loud. It just exists. Or at least I thought it did. The message preview was short. Can't wait to celebrate properly tonight. You earned it, and more. No name saved. Just a number. I remember staring at it longer than I should have. Not because it was obvious, but because it wasn't. There was something too familiar about the tone. Too comfortable. Too close. When she came out, I said nothing. I smiled, asked her about her day, kissed her forehead like I always did, and she smiled back like nothing had changed. That was the moment I realized something had. The promotion came fast. Too fast. She went from overlooked to essential in less than 6 months. Late nights, new clothes, new perfume, subtle changes most people would miss. But I don't miss patterns. Patterns are predictable. People aren't. Unless you watch them long enough. I started noticing everything. How she angled her phone away from me. How her tone shifted when certain calls came in. How she stopped talking about work, but started caring about it more. I didn't ask questions. Questions warn people. And I wasn't ready to warn her. Not yet. So I observed. Quietly. Carefully. The way you watch something fragile before deciding whether to protect it or let it shatter. I checked the phone bill first. Not the messages. The numbers. Patterns. Frequency. Timing. One number kept repeating. Late nights. Early mornings. Long durations. Long enough to say things you don't say to coworkers. Long enough to build something or destroy something. I saved the number. Didn't call it. Didn't need to. There are other ways to find out who someone is. Cleaner ways. More precise. And what I found didn't hurt. Not in the way people expect. It clarified things. Like wiping fog off glass. Her boss. Of course. Predictable in the end. Power attracts ambition. And ambition often forgets loyalty. I sat with that truth for a long time. Not angry. Not emotional. Just thinking. Because betrayal isn't the worst part. The worst part is realizing they thought you'd never find out. Or worse, they didn't care if you did. So I kept playing my role. The supportive husband. The warehouse worker. The man no one looked twice at. I drove her to this very party. Held the door open. Watched her walk in like she belonged to a world she thought I wasn't part of. And maybe that's when I knew this wasn't just betrayal. It was miscalculation. Because while they were building their little secret, they never once asked the only question that mattered. Who am I? Really? And now, standing there, listening to her boss humiliate me, while she stood beside him, smiling, I realized something else. This wasn't their moment. It was mine. They just didn't know it yet. I placed my glass down, slowly, carefully. The sound echoed more than it should have. And for the first time that night, I stood up. I stood up. Not abruptly. Not emotionally. Just deliberately. The kind of movement that makes people notice before they understand why. Conversations thinned out. Eyes shifted. The room didn't go silent this time. It leaned in. Curious. Waiting. I looked at her first. My wife. The woman who used to read my silence like a language. Now she couldn't even hold my gaze. Interesting. Then I looked at him. Her boss. Confident posture. Relaxed smile. A man who believed he understood power because he had tasted a small portion of it. Men like him always mistake access for ownership. I let a few seconds pass. Timing matters. Then I spoke. That's funny. My voice wasn't loud, but it carried. It always does when there's nothing shaking behind it. A few people chuckled, unsure, trying to stay aligned with whoever held control. I continued, because I don't remember building a company that hires people who speak without thinking. That got their attention. Not all of it. Just enough. Confusion flickered across his face. Quick. Subtle. My wife's expression didn't change. Not yet. She still thought this was a joke. That was the mistake. I reached into my pocket and pulled out my phone. No theatrics. No dramatic gestures. Just a simple motion. I tapped once. Across the room, the large presentation screen behind him flickered. He turned. Everyone did. And then silence. Real silence this time. The kind that suffocates. Call logs. Dates. Durations. Messages. Clean, organized, undeniable. No speculation. No accusations. Just facts. Her breath caught. I heard it, even from where I stood. He stepped back slightly, like distance could rewrite what was already visible. I spoke again. Calm. Measured. I like patterns, I said. They make things easier to understand. No one moved. No one interrupted. Because deep down, everyone recognizes truth when it's stripped of emotion. I looked at him. You should have been more careful. Then, a pause, not for effect, for precision. Or at least, smarter about who you were underestimating. That's when it hit him. Not the evidence, the implication. His eyes shifted back to me, searching, recalculating, trying to connect dots he never knew existed. I gave him the answer before he could ask. I own the company you work for. No raised voice. No anger. Just a statement. Simple. Final. The room changed. Instantly. Postures straightened. Expressions hardened. Distance formed around him like an invisible quarantine. Power is funny like that. It doesn't shout. It reveals. My wife looked at me now. Really looked. And for the first time in a long time, she saw me. Not the version she had reduced. Not the role she assigned. Me. Her lips parted. Nothing came out. There was nothing left to say. Because explanations only matter when there's uncertainty. And there wasn't any. Not anymore. I walked forward. Slow steps. Each one louder than the last. Not because of the sound, but because of what they meant. I stopped in front of him. Close enough that he couldn't avoid me. Far enough that I didn't need to touch him. I'll have HR contact you, I said quietly. Professional. Detached. As for you, I turned slightly. Looked at her. Just once. No anger. No sadness. That part of me had already ended. There's nothing left here. No drama. No raised voices. No scene. Just truth. Cold. Unavoidable. And then I walked away. The air outside felt different. Cleaner. Or maybe I was. I didn't feel relief. Not exactly. Relief implies something was weighing you down. This wasn't weight. This was clarity. Betrayal doesn't destroy you. It reveals what you were holding on to that was never real to begin with. I got into the car, sat there for a moment, hands resting calmly on the wheel. No shaking, no hesitation, just stillness. Because in the end, they didn't break me. They exposed themselves. And that's a far more permanent kind of damage. I started the engine. Didn't look back. Didn't need to. Some things don't deserve a second glance. Some people don't deserve a second version of you. And as the building disappeared behind me, so did everything that once connected me to it. I didn't lose anything that night. I simply stopped pretending I had.